Ready?
Yes.
Good morning. Happy Monday, right? Is that right? I hope everybody had a great weekend. So welcome to our special meeting for today. Mr. Towski, can you give us a roll call?
Mayor Rodenroth,
Here.
Vice Mayor Thompson,
Here.
Councilman Brown,
Here.
Councilman Hart.
Here.
You have a quorum, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Do we have any public comments?
I do have one, Mr. David Kirkland.
Okay. Mr. Kirkland?
Good morning, Madam Mayor and Council. I wanted to commend the volunteers that have stepped forward, the three that have applied to fill the seat 3. And I met all of them here this morning. I've known Mr. Lewandowski for several years, and in looking through the resumes that were on the webpage, and knowing Mr. Lewandowski's qualifications, especially with his previous city council experience, I think he'd be a great asset to this council, and all the experience that he brings with his knowledge of airports, being a retired Air Force colonel and involved with OI Roberts and the STEM program there and aviation-related items there. So from an airport standpoint, I think that he would be a great person for the city council. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So moving on, we have 2 different resolutions per ordinances to discuss. The first one is the ordinance 2023-604 park rules and the changes within that.
I'll make a motion, we read by title. Second.
All approved?
Aye.
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 Ordinance 2023-604, an ordinance of the City of Keystone Heights, Florida, amending Chapter 9, General Regulations, Article 3, City Recreational Parks, providing for conflict, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Madam Mayor, if I may, with this with this ordinance, the only additions are going to be item 9. There will be at least one adult supervising any minor for the ages of 16 years or younger. And then number 12, it came to my attention via Councilman Hart that we will correct, or it wasn't number 12, it was
David Kirkland caught that one. I have to give him the props.
section 978.
I think it's Annie, A-N-Y.
And so the only changes to the park regulations that anybody under or 16 years or younger must be supervised by an adult within any of our city parks.
Okay.
Could I jump in, Madam Mayor? Regarding item number 9, I guess the way this is written, an 18-year-old buddy could be the supervising person. Yes. Second thing is, well, do we want to massage that number, say a parent, guardian, or some other responsible person age 21 and older? I don't know. I'm just throwing that out. Second thing is, what does supervising mean? I don't know. And does that person have liability, the supervisor, if the supervisor doesn't supervise? Just 3 observations for discussion.
Well, I mean, there would be that argument if there was any type of liability, but being that it's not intended to create a civil cause of action, that probably not.
Probably not. It's not, the penalty is for the person who does the graffiti or whatever. I would recommend, though, we amend it to a parent, guardian, or other responsible adult, 21 years and older. So the person's little older buddy can't say, well, I'm supervising.
So I kind of agree with that, just because of some experiences I've had recently being over there and just observing things. Because some of the kids I saw were 18, 19 years old, maybe even older, and just being like banshees. I mean, going crazy on the pavilion when they had a bicycle up there. They brought their skateboards in. The challenge I think we have is we don't have anyone to seriously enforce it, having a physical presence.
So the purpose of this is due to the public vandalism and some of the nuisances that has been caused. This is giving law enforcement the capability of that there is something that's going on that's not appropriate or within our rights, that that they can be asked to leave. It's putting guidelines on what the public space can be used for.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so if it is the will of the council to change it, then absolutely we'll have those discussions and make those changes.
Otherwise, I would move passage with that change, age 21, parent, guardian, or other responsible adult.
And then
With
this
that
will come,
language.
this will come back to council at the November 20th meeting for second
Mhm.
reading and passage. So any changes that you'd like to see, now is a good time to have that conversation.
I like to chime in. I agree. I was there yesterday for a little meeting that was going on there. And there is a group of teenagers that we see walking up and down the sidewalks, walking down at the beach and everything and hanging out. And they're probably the ones that are leaving all their trash and stuff like that. So I agree with Councilman Hart that we do need to raise it up a little bit, because you can't tell who's 16, who's 15, who's 18. And I think that would give the law enforcement a little bit more bite in order to enforce it.
What do you think, Chris?
I agree. I agree.
Yep.
I
I
have a
agree
motion on
also.
the floor. I don't think there's been a second yet.
I'll
Second,
second. Oh,
go ahead.
I think that also supports, as I talk about this all the time, our audience is the 30-year-old group of families, right? 30 up to 39 is our dominant age group in our city. And, they get nervous about going into the park because some of these kids make them feel threatened. And then they just leave. So the kids don't get to enjoy the park. I think if we, like you say, put that adult 21 and older, then they stop at that sign and go, well, we don't know anybody 21. Or, you know what I'm saying? It just kind of puts a little bit more of a formal thing on it, regulation. I mean, the next step to me is physical security. Because I've been looking at it online, what other parks, we are not alone with these challenges, across the country. And that might be something for future consideration.
Well, I'll even step out and say this, and I mean, there's one word that does not happen to come across even adults anymore, is the word respect. And there is no respect for anybody else's property or their well-being anymore, and that's a shame.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. It's unfortunate.
We will make the recommended changes, and then those will be brought back to you for the November 20th second reading.
Have we had a vote on that?
Did we vote?
I don't
You
believe
you
so.
seconded it.
no,
Okay,
I
so we have a
second
vote?
it. We need to vote.
Okay, we need a vote.
aye.
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 Aye. Okay, next, we have a second ordinance to be read. It's 2023-605, Keystone Heights Airport Authority seat.
Move we read by title only.
Second.
Ordinance 2023-605, an ordinance to place a proposed amendment on the next general election ballot, amending Section 38 of the Charter for the City of Keystone Heights to remove the seat of the Florida National Guard and to add a city seat, providing for an effective date of January 1st, 2025.
Any comments?
I make a motion, we accept the ordinance.
I'll second.
Okay. Give me a vote.
Aye.
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 Madam Mayor, this will also come back to you for second reading November 20th.
Okay. Okay, next is we have our seat 3 appointment and our letters of interest.
Madam Mayor, you have all three individuals that are here this morning. And so if you'd like to hear from them, or however you'd like to proceed to appoint for council seat 3. This will be the remainder of former Councilman Bobby Brown's term, which will go through April of 2024.
Okay. So I know I have all three gentlemen here, and they were so kind to attend my minutes with the mayor last a week ago Saturday. So felt like we kind of got to know each other a little better, which I'm really happy that all of three of you were there. So would one of you like to get up and just talk to the group so we can hear from you as a team here?
May I suggest we just do it in alphabetical order by last
Well,
name?
we can do that too.
That would be, I believe, Mr. Knight.
Yes.
Good morning.
Hi, Ryan.
Obviously, I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you this morning. And I am sorry to be here because that means that someone has been unwell and unable to serve out their term. So on behalf of my family, I send our best wishes to the former council member. I want to thank those in the community who have been lifelong residents who asked me to put my name forward this morning. Melissa, Garrison, Arabella, and I, we love this community and being a part of it. And I'm certainly thankful for my wife that she's here with me this morning. She says I have to buy her lunch when we leave. So, at any rate, you know, I said I was I think, kind of perplexed to hear, honestly, the mayor's presentation, because I'm not used to being in a room at 40 and being told that I'm very close to the dominant demographic in an area in which I live. Usually it's an older demographic, but it was very clear to me that you all, including the city manager and others who support your work, have been engaged in quite an important work this past year. And so I thank you for that. When you say what are obviously value adds to this community, you know, for me, being close to UF is an incredibly important value add. We are a bedroom community of UF. We are a unique community. We are sitting within 30 minutes drive of one of the #1 ranked schools in the United States. Obviously, as the debates and the discussions have said, our airport is a complete value add to this community. But the charm and aesthetic quality of the layout of the city is not easily replicated. And that it has retained this layout over the past 100 years is testament, I think, to the possibilities for the future. Obviously, if, as I said in my letter, I'm going to be a part of this for 6 months or a little less, you know, it's really a trial period. It requires in-depth listening, requires a lot of study, requires teamwork, and certainly prayer. And I would commit myself to doing that if selected. My background is business development, both for Amrock Financial out of Miami, a boutique finance company, and Tomosino Farms, which acts as an exporter for the United States and an importer from Costa Rica of fresh and frozen tropical produce. I'm also deeply engaged in a nonprofit ministry as well. And so that is the work I do, and that is my background. And so I certainly look forward, if you desire, for continued discussions in the week ahead, and pray God's blessings on the work you're doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Did you want to ask questions or just do the presentation first?
Yeah, let's just let them do their presentations. And okay, so I'm trying to see my names here. Sorry. Who's next? Dan.
Good morning, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor Thompson, Councilman Hart, Councilman Brown. As you know, I've served before. This is part of my Air Force heritage, I guess you could say. One of the 3 core values of the United States Air Force is service before self. And I try to embody that. I've served on multiple committees, the airport board from 2015 to 2018. I was on the council. And in general, this brings me a sense of familiarity, a sense of comfort, and a lack of training needed by yourselves that I can easily fill the position. My goal is to simply help the council run smoothly and get us through to the results of the next election. I don't have any agendas. I don't have anything I want to do. I just want to serve. I continue to do that in the community. I've coached youth sports teams, been a scout leader. I continue to serve as a teacher and an adjunct professor for Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. And whatever I can do to help fill the vacancy left by Mr. Brown, I would be glad to do that.
Thank you. Thank you, Dan. Mr. Kusler?
I think we have to work on ABG rules.
Good morning, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Council. I was honored to be asked to apply, applied. I'd like to get more involved into the community. I'm originally from Delray Beach, Florida, joined the Navy. I ended up and buying property in Melrose. I just like the community over here better, and that's why I sold the property in Melrose 3 years ago and moved over at Palmetto. I served the fire department board in Melrose back, it was 20 years ago. Like I said, I was privileged. I am retired Navy, and I did a little job in between, and I worked for a company, and I worked up to be a district manager for a premier maintenance company. And I have, like I said, I have served on other boards. I know that the votes make a difference. You got to balance them out, because you vote one way, the next way affects somebody else. You got to look at the best opportunity or the best advantage of, and to do it. I would enjoy it. To be on a city council, to get more involved with the community instead of just watching things. That's about all I have to add.
Okay. Thank you so much. Y'all have questions?
Yeah, I think when we ask the questions, perhaps the applicant could come back to the microphone, so it'll be on the record.
Okay.
My suggestion. I had a question of Mr. Knight, a couple of questions.
Yes.
With your financial background, obviously you're educated and you know what's up. But what municipal experience have you had?
Oh, none.
Okay.
None. Now, my undergrad, I had public policy, international commerce, that sort of thing. My professor encouraged me to do public policy, but
Yeah.
I wasn't planning to be here this morning.
Where'd you go to school?
Athens State University. It's in Athens, Alabama. It's a liberal arts school. It's been around since the 1840s.
I understand you bought Charlie Van Zant's house about a year and a half. You've been in town about a year and a half.
Yeah,
2
please
years?
don't hold that against me.
I won't. I guarantee I won't.
Okay, well, in that case, yeah. If it's a positive, yeah, I sure did.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. But you mentioned, if you would give me some leeway and indulge me, you mentioned finances. I think that's an important area of focus in the future, trying to find ways not just to capture the things that are available, which I think you're doing a great job at, but to look for ways that down the road we can do more intensive things, because this is, it's going to take leveraging up, and we're going to need to do that in the future. So I look forward to, if those discussions are desired, seeing what we could do.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Anybody?
I don't have any questions.
Okay,
Thank
thank you.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just had one question of Mr. Cussler, known as Speedy, correct? You said in your comments that you served on other boards. What other boards did you serve on?
I served on, the one I was Melrose Methodist Church, and I used to attend over there. I have been on the fire department board for several terms, but when I actually just finished my term up on that. I gave it up because when I was promoted to the district manager of the job, I traveled a lot. So it was just hard to make the Tuesday evening meetings during the week.
What were you district manager of? What company?
Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, and what it was a premier. It still is. I was just there Thursday visiting. It's a Gemco Maintenance out of Venice, Florida. It is a maintenance company for public supermarkets.
Okay.
So everywhere there was a Publix 5 years ago, I've been.
So you're used to dealing with business managers and
Yes.
and the general public, I guess,
Yes,
in various locations,
yes,
which I would assume requires some tact.
yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. I don't have any other questions.
Good, thank you.
That's all I have.
That's all you got?
That's all I got.
Well, first of all, I think we have a bit of a gift here with 3 talented men who have come forward to apply for this position. It excites me to see about our future. As you know, our roles change too. Like every year, it seems like one of the spots comes open. And, you know, regardless of the decision, I hope that you all continue to keep interest for a future position within our council, because I feel like all of you certainly could apply, are very applicable to what we do every day. So I'm really excited to see the interest for sure, in knowing that we have some quality folks that are interested in taking on the position. So thank you very much.
There are other opportunities to serve. Now, only one of you will be appointed by the council today for a very limited period of time, and I think Mr. Lewandowski's point is well taken, that in essence, he'll be up to speed. He can sit down and do the job. There will be a learning curve for the other 2 gentlemen, but you're all, I echo your comments, I think you all are highly qualified. Different skill sets, but highly qualified. I would encourage the ones that don't yet to consider other opportunities to serve within the city, get to know the government a little bit more. There are a couple of standing committees that are always looking for people, such as planning and zoning and heritage. In that way, you would get your feet a little wet and figure out, sort of at least where the bathroom is. But I have an opinion, and my opinion is for a 6-month appointment, I think experience is extremely important. So I would, when it comes to a vote, I will be voting for Dan.
Any
We're
other
going down
comments?
the line.
Chris?
I don't know. Are we going down the line? Are we going down the line?
Yeah.
I'd vote for Dan too.
Yeah. And I'll have to vote for Dan as well.
Can we get a motion?
Yeah.
Can we get, oh, sorry.
Can I have a comment?
I move that Mr. Lewandowski be appointed to the 6-month appointment to fill out the remaining term on seat 3.
I second that.
Okay.
Discussion?
Discussion?
Okay. I would like to make a couple comments. One is, I asked Speedy several months ago when we knew Bobby was not doing well to consider, because he was coming to the meetings. I think he would make a good council person, just like the other 2 gentlemen. I've met this gentleman, Mr. Knight, walking every day with his wife through town. I've known Dan for a long time. I feel like my vote needs to go to the person that I asked to sit on the board, and so at this time, my vote's going to be for Speedy. And another comment I like to make, like Councilman Hart said and the mayor, there is opportunities, and I highly suggest that you stay informed. And I'll make this statement. I'll probably get in trouble for saying it. I do not intend to run next year, 2025. I think 27 years is enough. And so I'm gonna go off into the sunset. So I will not be running. So there is opportunities next year.
Well, as long as this is true confessions, I will have put in 10 years next April. My seat is up along with seat 3, and at this point I don't intend to run. And I'm very pleased to see we have so many qualified people that are interested in serving.
Definitely.
So.
Yep.
Will you guys serve on planning and zoning?
Councilman Hart, you can go back to where we started.
Planning and zoning and washing windows? Sure. No, that's an important community. Thank you.
You're not sitting in.
Well, I move that, I guess we've already had the motion in effect. I move that
We need to
Mr.
vote.
Second, there's no other discussion, I think we just need to vote.
I think we do.
Okay. All for a vote?
Yeah, all in favor of Mr. Lewandowski, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
No.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Madam Mayor and newly appointed Councilman Lewandowski, we will set up a time for you to be sworn in later on this week so that you can invite your wife and family members and make that a ceremonial thing. And congratulations.
Yeah.
Madam Mayor, that's all we have for our 10th, or our
Thank
10
you.
o'clock meeting.
And council, correct me if I'm wrong, but sunset is set in with Mr. Lewandowski at this point. Is that correct? Okay.
Okay. All right, we're
Sunshine.
adjourned.